Hello, LEGO fans. Bricks Unbound here with another Building Hogwarts update. And unlike the previous few updates, we're going to be going inside the castle today to take a look at a new interior space, being the Ravenclaw Common Room. So this is one that I've been wanting to finish for quite some time and just hadn't done it. But I'm currently waiting on some Bricklink orders to arrive for some more exterior portions of the castle. So thought I would work on this in the meantime. And Ravenclaw Tower is one of the taller towers of Hogwarts. I've obviously removed the roof in this case, but as we look down, there is going to be some mess of parts as I was working on other sections. But this is a kind of a fun view from way up above everything here. So we've got this tower in front of our astronomy tower, and it is above the library section of the classroom of the castle, with the charms classroom being down underneath that. But let's take a look inside here. So they only visit this common room one time in the books, which of course is at the very end of the last book. But we get a little bit of description there, which describes there being a marble statue of Rowena Ravenclaw in the back. So that's what that white statue is there. I'm not super happy with that hairpiece, but I only had a couple of female hair pieces in white, and that was the closest I could get. I would like one that I could actually attach a tiara piece to represent the diadem, but unfortunately I just didn't have a piece like that at the moment, so that'll be switched out eventually. And then of course the rug underneath everything is in the Ravenclaw colors from the movies, not from the books because they are different, but the gray and dark blue color for the flooring in there. And then I have a few pieces of furniture scattered around the room as well. And I will do some rotating here. There's going to be a little bit of difficulty seeing areas because this is a fairly tall section of building and we're looking quite a ways down into it. But as we go around here, so that, wow, focus, there we go. That round lamp over there by those windows, that's just straight out of the Ravenclaw banner set. I have both of them from that set pulled out and stuck in here. You'll see some other things like that sticker above the fireplace there also is from that set. And in front of the fireplace, we have a couple of Ravenclaw students. We've got Roger Davies on the left there, and then Terry Boot on the right. And they have noticed Luna's support for the Gryffindor Quidditch team here with her lion head that she's showing off to them. They both look rather shocked with that creation. The furniture in here is relatively basic builds. Let me pull out one of these chairs. So nothing too fancy here, just some bracket pieces and then some curved slopes attached to it. And this particular build is repeated, I think, 4 times throughout this. The fireplace currently just has a blank 2x4 dark bluish gray tile, or no, dark blue tile, excuse me, hanging on it. I want to find a good sticker to put there or something else, but I also have some other potential ideas, which we'll talk about later in the video, for some changes that I'm going to potentially do here. Of course, Ravenclaw is also known for their studiousness and their wit and smarts, so they of course have lots of books around the room as well. So a bookcase over in this corner, got a little banner there on the wall, and then here we have Cho on the right and then Marietta Edgecombe on the left playing some wizard's chess. And then to either side of the statue in the back we have some doors. I'm picturing the one on the right there underneath that additional bookcase would be what would lead up to the dormitories, and then the staircase on the left is going to actually be the entrance door to get in here. That's all I could really fit in here for doors. There's a lot of different versions of actually more than I thought there'd be, but there's a lot of different versions of this common room depending on the video game mainly, because we don't actually see it. I don't think they actually go into it in the last movie, do they? Ooh, it's been a long time since I watched that one. I might be wrong there, but I couldn't find any shots for movies, at least, with this depicted, so went with description of the book plus my own touches. Yes, that bookcase is elevated up above everything, but hey, They're witches and wizards. They can easily levitate a book down if they need to. And actually the way everything is fit in for these corner spaces is it just slides down into this gap here so I can get it at an angle. It's not held in by any studs, but it's 6 wide on the front section and 4 wide on the back, and that just slots in perfectly in between these kind of pillar builds off to the side around the windows. So worked out pretty well and pretty convenient that that's how it fit in. And that's really it for this. It took me a lot of time to figure out the floor pattern. It's very basic what I ended up going with. I had other designs that I just couldn't get to fit correctly. And then I'm like, wait, I just need to rotate this slightly and then it works. And what do you know? It worked. Now, I mentioned earlier, there's some potential changes I want to do here. Because one thing that this is obviously missing is, so this is Ravenclaw Tower. The inside here, this is, I'm going to have a big spiral staircase. That's not the final form by any means, but it's holding the space. And that will lead up to, I mean, in theory, to this door, right? Like you'll have to use a little bit of imagination because there's a solid plate at the bottom of this for stability, but that staircase would lead up for them to access through the door here. But then I was thinking, well, where am I going to put the actual dorms? And I think what I'm going to do actually is this particular bookcase is going to be going away because I think I'm going to shorten these pillars down a few so they're the same height as the top of this doorway section. And I'll just shorten everything around as I go. And then essentially I'll be able to slide in a section where I can have the dorms. And it'll just sit on the columns once they're shortened here. There will be a little bit of the window that shows above the floor level, but I think that's fine because the dorms themselves also have windows in there. But that's the plan, is it will just fit down inside here and rest on top of these, which again are going to be about 5 bricks shorter than where they're currently at. So it is going to take quite a bit of pulling things apart and removing pieces, but I think that way I'll be able to still fit in some dorm space above, because I would like to have a dorm section for, ideally for each of the houses, but especially for Ravenclaw and Gryffindor, just because Gryffindor you actually see in the movies, and then Ravenclaw is the house that I always get sorted into, so I would like for it to be a fairly complete build. So there will be a bit of deconstruction here, and I'll have to shorten down like this chimney section and even the other bookcase over here a little bit. But I think that will work out pretty well in the long run. I can fit a little bit more details in, which is always appreciated in this build. It'd only be like 1 dorm room because obviously there's 7 years worth of Ravenclaws, but there's not going to be space for all of that in this particular tower. So that'll do it though for this video. Thank you for watching. Please keep coming back for more and let me know what you think about it down in the comments.